Ballet Mistress here at the company. As you can see, the dancers are already hard at work behind me. But just before we join them, I'd like to remind you to keep in touch with us either via the website or Glow, as one of our principal dancers, Tama Barry, will be available at the end of the class to answer your questions. Let's join the
See what that's on.
Good morning and welcome to Scottish Ballet's first live streaming event. My name is Hope Muir and I'm one of the ballet mistresses here at the company. As you can see, the dancers are already hard at work in class, but just before we join them, I'd like to remind you to keep in touch with us either via the website or Glow, as one of our principal dancers, Tama Barry, will be available to take your questions at the end of class. Let's join the dancers now. Our dancers here at Scottish Ballet have a class every morning at 10 a.m., 6 days a week. The class has a number of uses. Firstly, it helps to focus the dancer and prepare them for a day's rehearsal or performance. But it also systematically warms up the body and prepares the muscles for whatever the dancer might be required to do that day. This is to avoid injury and elongate the dancer's career, just like a footballer or any sports person might do. The dancers would have started the class at the bar, doing a number of exercises to warm up their feet, knees, loosen their hips, and stretch. They would have worked each side of the body, both right and left, independently of each other, and combined simple coordination of the arms with stretches and strengthening exercises. As you can see, we've joined our dancers already in the center and working on a traveling combination of pirouettes. As the class progresses, the exercises increase in both length and difficulty. These exercises represent challenges that the dancers might be asked to perform in specific choreography they might be rehearsing that day. Is a whirl or a spin, a complete turn of the body on one foot, on point or demi-point. It's very important for men and women. However, men will usually be asked to do longer turns or multiple turns at the end of a solo or sequence of steps. Women can also do this, but are more likely partnered in the longer turns, and this could be a result of turning on point, which is much more difficult. Pirouettes are definitely one of the hardest skills to master, but a challenge that most dancers enjoy. average professional career, a dancer will approximately spend 468 hours a year in class. That's a remarkable 390 days, or just over a year in a career. That doesn't even take into account all of the years of training. Maria Jimenez is also a ballet mistress here at Scottish Ballet, and she is now setting warm-up jumps. It is important to get the body practiced in smaller jumps and on class, or not travelling, so that they can prepare the joints for the impact of larger jumps. The knees, ankles, and hips absorb a lot of shock in landings, and warming the body correctly is paramount. Here at Scottish Ballet, we are preparing for the world premiere of our artistic director Ashley Page's Alice. Ashley and the dancers have already been hard at work for over 3 weeks now, and it is an exciting process to watch. Teaching is only one part of the job in being a ballet mistress or master here at Scottish Ballet. We also have to rehearse the dancers in their roles and keep a record of ballets or new choreography as it's being created. Alice will be premiered here in Glasgow on the 12th of April and then tour for 5 weeks around the country. You might notice that some of the women are on point in class. Each dancer's day of rehearsal will present different challenges, and sometimes it is useful to put the shoes on in class to work on specific steps, or to just break in a new pair of shoes so they are ready for the day's rehearsal. Some of our principal dancers will go through as many as 2 pairs of shoes in one performance. As the jumping exercises continue in class, you will see that the time in the air becomes more sustained and the jumps get bigger. This is especially important for the men, who are required to do many difficult jumps in solos and variations. The sequences become intricate musically, and the dancers almost seem to defy gravity. This is an assemble exercise. Assemble means assembled or joined together, a step in which the working foot slides well along the ground before being swept into the air. As the foot goes into the air, the dancer pushes off the floor with the supporting leg, extending the toes. Both legs then come to the ground together in fifth position. You might be wondering why many of the terms used in classical ballet come from French. This came from King Louis XIV of France, established the first school of ballet, today known as the Paris Opera Ballet. Many of the terms, when translated, give clues to the steps that they're named for. For example, a plie is to bend, and a port de bras is carriage of the arms. You'll notice that some of the dancers indicate what Maria is setting with their hands. They're just trying to mimic what foot will be working, and they do this with their arms to save them working their legs. Musical dynamic for jumping is very important, which is why we're so fortunate here at Scottish Ballet to always have a pianist for class. Intricate musicality in jumps allows the dancer to hang in the air or suspend the jump. See in this exercise that some of the men are actually adding extra beats in some of the jumps. It's an extra technical requirement that just means the legs move quickly from the front to the back before the landing. This is something that men do typically in solos much more than the women. So Maria's just set a tour for the men, which means one full rotation in the air that they will complete twice before landing. This is the sort of technical requirement that might come at the end of a big variation or solo in one of the big classical ballets. You will notice Tama Barry in the pink t-shirt here at the front of class, a long-time principal with Scottish Ballet, and she will be performing the role of the White Rabbit in our new Alice. shouting corrections and trying to give the dancers some energy throughout the exercise. Words of encouragement. Principal Adam Blythe in the burgundy polo neck at the front of the room, who danced in the role of the caterpillar in Ashley Page's new Alice.
Questions? No more questions. Tama has
Enjoying this live streaming event from Scottish Ballet. I'd just now like to introduce you to one of our principal dancers, Tama Barry. Good morning, Tama. We have a lot of questions that have come in online for Tama, so I'm going to ask a few now from Crimin Primary. First of all, how long would the company need to practice to prepare for a performance?
This is kind of a how long is a piece of string kind of question. Generally, between 7 and 4 weeks is sort of a general time. When we're doing a new creation like we are right now, generally takes longer because obviously things are being created as we go, so that takes a little bit more time. If we're doing a piece that's been done before on the company, then it takes less time because the steps are already created, and so we can learn them directly rather than going through the process of creation. So that's generally why there's a difference in time length.
Good. Do you have to be really strong to do ballet?
This is actually one of those things that's quite difficult to believe, because I'm sure a lot of you are watching, especially the girls, and thinking, gosh, they're so thin. But actually they're like that because of what we do. You have to be super, super strong, super fit, and super healthy. Otherwise you couldn't do this. So the answer to that is yes, you've got to be strong, and you've got to be strong in areas that are completely different to the average human being. Muscles that you probably will never use in your life, we rely on as dancers. So yes, that's very important.
Good. I'm coming in on Twitter. How does life in Scottish Ballet compare to your former company, Queensland Ballet?
Right, well, actually life is fairly similar. The companies are fairly similar, similar size and similar style of work. Obviously it's quite different here because it's Ashley, and in Queensland Ballet it was Francois Class, but both companies were choreographer-led, which means that the artistic director is also a major choreographer for the company. Along with that, we tend to perform less in Scotland, but we do more organised, specific days. Whereas in Queensland Ballet we did a lot more shows, but they were kind of not in certain seasons, such as an autumn season, Christmas season, spring season, like we do here. They're both very friendly companies. That was very important to me when I joined, was that it was a nice environment and a very creative environment, and I think that's something that you get when you're a choreographer-led company like we are. You get a lot of creativity and constant building the creative nature of a company. And also when you're picked as a dancer to join a company like that, you know you're being picked for your individual talents and abilities rather than being, say, a number, which is always very inspiring and very, very great. And as we're doing Ashley's Alice at the moment, we're all being utilised very differently from where you would be in a lot of other companies. So that's probably the main things that are saying. The biggest difference, I guess, is weather. Although Queensland just had a flood, so, you know, which is terrible, so maybe the weather's better here at the moment.
And lastly, again from Crimin Primary, do you get many injuries?
Yes, you can't work this hard with your body. As you can see behind me, they're throwing themselves around. You can't do that and not get injured. I myself have had knee surgery and other things that have kind of kept me going, and definitely worth the pain. And those kind of things. So yeah, injuries are a fact of life as a dancer, same as they're a fact of life as an athlete, a footballer, a rugby player. It's the same for all of us.
And finally, I think Amy asked, what age do you need to start to get good enough to be a professional?
Well, now this is another piece of string question. This depends a lot on your physical ability. I have danced with people that started ballet at the age of 3. I've also danced with people that have started at 19. Generally later for boys is more acceptable because the flexibility involved in female dancing needs to be something that started quite young, I think. Although more and more so, males are expected to do similar work. But that has a lot to do with your physical ability. Some people are just naturally very lucky and can start a lot later. So that's probably the answer to that one.
And how do dancers follow the steps so quickly?
Well, this is very interesting. This is a learned thing. So it's kind of like, how do you know how to write, or how do you read faster? Over the years of training, we learn to pick up steps. We learn the language that's in front of us. We become very visually adept at picking up a pattern of the body. So that's kind of the process that we take to pick up the steps, and that just gets faster and faster the more you do it. Like anything, it's practice.
It's practice.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all our questions at the moment, and I'd like to thank you very much for joining us, Tama, firstly.
Thank you very much.
And thank you to you for coming to see the Scottish Ballet live streaming event. We'll leave you with the dancers who are just finishing class, but please keep in touch with us on the website for future upcoming programs and more special events. There will be one live for Alice, so please keep in touch with us on the website. We'll leave you with the dancers who are just finishing class. Thank you very much.
is